Salam alaikum. Not Linda Jackson, but Phoenix Ramadan Jackson. Back in the light of obviously a cyber network cartoon of education. Okay, so now, okay, okay, so it's what do we say? It's like a sports person who has prepared all their life, their entire life for only what and all, wait, they prepare for all their life for only never to live or their dream doing it. Okay, doing the sport that they've trained for, they've practiced for. Okay, they've competed for. Okay, it's kind of crippling. Kind of, as I said, it displaces the integrity. Then to, okay, what does that say? Okay, it places the integrity many times. It places the integrity to that. You know, um, now, and that's unfortunately the blowback of education, of the commercial education. That's just one of them. Okay. Now, and then the sad thing is, in about 6 months, okay, in the mail in about 6 months after, okay, later, only to be reminded that of the malfeasance, the debt, the bill comes in the mail. Now it's time for the bill to pay the bill after they trained and then they go out and trying to find a job and all this and they can't find the job that they trained for and it's like now it's like it's time to pay the bill, okay, and okay, that they brought upon themselves when they signed on the indentured serfdom line. Okay, it is okay. It is quite humiliating to say the least to purchase and what's that? Okay, employment career training only to discover you are not wanted in the profession. There's no room for you here. There's no room at the inn. Okay, you just paid over $100,000 for. Okay, your paper, the degree. Okay, the new degree, like the dollar itself, will hold no value because there's no jobs. Okay, and paid all that greenbacks for. Then and there's no job. Then the degree means nothing if you can't get a job. There's no job, because that's what you bought it for, right? That's what the young people bought it for, you know. So now we're talking about the amount of money that was paid for that, and having no foundation, well, having no place to apply it. Okay, now, okay, it's very disheartening. Okay, now. And if the debt now, and it goes even bigger, the consequence of education. That's what I should have called this video. The consequence of buying education. Okay, the consequence of borrowing education, commercial education. Now, the consequence of buying commercial education. That's what I was saying. Okay, so now. As we said, that they paid thousands of dollars to enter. Okay, there's thousands of inflated dollars. Okay, now, and if debt is if debt or EBT is not enough, then one is told if what is that? If the score, the debt will remain open in the commercial books. Wait, no. One is told that the debts, okay, will remain open. The student loan debt will remain open on the books till the day that that young person, dies. That's how serious it is, and that's very, 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 very sad that the young people are enslaved like that today to financial aid. Children who've been, worked hard all their lives trying to get the A's and the B's, sitting in front of the class, taking the ridicule of the bullies and other, other students that are challenged, and doing what the parents say. Tell the principal, tell the teacher, do the extra homework, stay up at, and that only gets more, advanced as they get older, staying up at night, and really, really tugging their books home and doing their work and doing the research, only to find that there's no payoff, there's no job, there's no job, and then they got to pay the debt until they die, and there's no relief. They're enslaved. Now we got to ask why. Why is this the case? Why are the young being get him, he's here, excuse me. Why is the young being enslaved like this? What is the purpose? What is it? How are they being recognized? How are they being rewarded for being so good? That wasn't easy. Taking all the ridicule, nerds, geeks, they worked hard. Their parents worked hard. They wouldn't know, their parents aren't, just because they send their kids to colleges and the university, they're not rich. They just love their children. And when those children apply for financial aid, they really want to fulfill their parents' dream for them and their own desire for themselves to live a good life, a good clean life, to be able to pay their bills, come home to a safe neighborhood, that's been more commercially rewarded. Anyway, so they think they believe they're paying their debt to society, okay? But they shouldn't be enslaved for trying to be good people, okay? Now, let's go further, okay? So, to be taxed until they die, and what did we say? Okay, remains on the books until they die, until death, do they part, until the matter is resolved, until the matter is settled. It's like a marriage to debt, okay? Marriage to EBT. And we're going to talk about what EBT is, okay? What the absence of a D is, okay? Now, okay. So, one becomes married, as we said, to a student loan, something they applied for maybe at 18, 19, 20, 21, and continuously. But my point is still back to the innocence, the mindset of the youth as they sign on this dotted line. And many times their parents don't know this, that this what these students sign on to, and then they don't know that the job market is going to be so bad. I remember when I went to my daughter's graduation, and they were talking about, how these children were graduating into a job, graduating at a time when the job market was at its worst, and so they paid their dues, just by being good people, good students. And I'm not saying those who don't go aren't good. I'm just saying that these stand out as testimony of how the young are trying to fulfill their parents' dream and desire for them and good intentions for them, as with the EBT, those who are educated via EBT. And we're going to find out what that means. Okay, so they shouldn't be penalized is what I'm saying. The youth should not be penalized to death. That's sick. Okay? So, okay, anyway, okay. And if this is not enough, okay, this debt is there until death do they part. They're married to the debt. Then what happens? Okay, to the young educated, okay. Now, the young person is informed to stay in touch with their student loan officer, okay? Uh, okay? And if they do not, it is considered a felony. Wow. See that? A felony. Now that's gotta be, I'm gonna just say it. That's gotta be fucking hella scary. Seriously. A child that has been first homeschooled, meaning given, and all children start there. Some just accelerate, continue to accelerate on that path. But nonetheless, they're still taxed. They're still challenged. That's the EBT crew. Okay? Those who are navigated toward the spirituality, okay, the spiritual road. Those who are challenged to take the high road. There's that road that is said to be the high road, okay, the spiritual road, okay. So now that's the EBT crew. We'll talk about that, okay. But anyway, the felony, okay, the educated, okay, and so if they don't stay in touch with their loan officer. Okay, their student loan officer, which is their parole officer, basically. Okay, because they only on parole. Okay, when they get out of school, they get on parole. Because if they don't pay that debt battle, letting them know where they are, it's off the. You know what I'm saying? It's threatened with a felony. Okay, and that's threatened. We'll see what that said. Okay, and it says okay, what did I say? Which is real fear. Okay. Real fear, traumatizing fear to, let's say, one who's grown up homeschool about the humanities, okay, then put into the secular world, a world of academia, the commercial world of academia, in the bubble, trying to find God and plug him in, okay, then he signs a debt, and then he learns after signing the debt that there's no way of going back, okay, that's a marriage. Okay, and if you don't pay the alimony, not the alimony, well, no, not the alimony. If you don't pay the debt, okay, then and let the officer know, okay, he's going to be charged with a felony, okay, and that, as I said, that's a threat of being imprisoned with real criminals, EBTers, okay. The EBT crowd, the spiritual crowd, the religious crowd, those who were guided towards spirituality, they didn't have no other choice but to go to church, okay, or go to the mosque or the synagogue or wherever they go to try to remain holy against the odds of not being able to produce, okay, in the commercial world, okay, or stay on track. They fell through the cracks in society. They fell to the risk factors in their community, their commercially challenged community, okay, and the temptation, okay, of not having food, that caused them to deviate from God, okay, and try to make a way that is not approved of, that is goes against social integrity, Okay, now when we're going to get to that, but we're staying with this crowd first, the debt, the ones with the D in front of their EBT, okay, the ones who are on furlough, okay, the ones who have a degree, those are ones on furlough, okay. Now, so they put in, they're threatened to be in prison with the ones who are the religious crowd, the EBTers, the ones who were hungry and decided that the only way to deal with the temptation was to yield to some of the commercial risk factors in their community, or even not. Okay, or even not. You know what I'm saying? And whose only crime is being the uneducated. I mean, the only crime the EBTers have is what? Uneducated. They didn't get the formal education. Okay, they didn't pay for their education. That's the problem there. They didn't pay for it. They didn't put the D in front of that EBT. Okay, they didn't acquire that debt, whereby they'd still be at risk for going to prison, Okay? So let's not get that twisted. There's still that risk factor there. You won't pay that money back. Okay. Now, um, now, so that's their crime: being uneducated, being being uncommercially educated. They didn't pay for it. Okay, that's their crime against humanity. The debtors paid their debt. They paying their debt. Okay, they got the commercial education, and now they out there paying for it. Okay, and if they don't pay for it, they will go to prison, or that will stay with them for life. So they still enslaved. Okay, so we're gonna move forward now. Okay, so those who may just now that's what I said. The commercially formally uneducated. Okay, those who may just stayed in church looking for the promised land of milk and honey and enough or milk and money, just enough to pay the bills. Okay, we all got to pay. That is where everyone meets. Everyone comes together. The commercially educated, the formal, the educated, the commercially those commercially educated formally, and those who are commercially uneducated, okay, informally educated, okay, about the commercial world, okay, that's their crime. But they come together in the market, okay, the haves and the have-nots, okay. And when the haves look at the have-nots, they get mad. The haves look at the have-nots, they get mad because they EBT, and the haves look at the debtors and get mad because they the haves. They have debt and the other ones don't. You see what I'm saying? The EBTs don't have debt. Commercial educated student loan officers, okay, they have other kind of officers because they didn't pay their debt. Okay, they didn't acquire the debt. They didn't pay their debt to society and get a commercial education by which they could get a job and contribute to the market. Okay, but now again, there's nothing wrong with getting a formal education, but you better know what you're getting it for. To educate yourself. It's for you, not for filling the position. Now, getting a job in the market is not bad either. It's about getting one that nurtures your soul, your integrity, so that you can really be a contribution to society, to life, to humanity, having those same ethics that you were given, at birth, the born identity, and those values that you were given from mom and dad. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, so it's good having a formal education. It's just acquiring it when the person is innocent and not knowing and signing their name on that line, signing their social security, their numbers on their maiden name, the mother's maiden name on that line. See what I'm saying? That blood on that line, that's that family blood, on that line. That's not accepted. No, that's not that's what they got to do. They didn't do that. And I hope I kept up with that place. Anyway, okay, that's where we meet. We all meet in the market. Okay, the haves and the have-nots, and the haves look at the haves because of what we said. Okay, they don't have, and the haves look at the have-nots look at the haves because they have, the formal education, not knowing that both of them are slaves. One is a slave to debt. One is a slave when he is when they are yield to temptation without formal education, how to acquire sometimes, unfortunately, or the debt of not having the the temptation of the consequence of not having, okay, can lead to imprisonment. And what do they do in prison? They slave. It's a sweatshop. Okay, it's a sweatshop, a form of. Anyway, it's a form of institutionalized slavery. So when the educated look at the uneducated and then say, okay, and judge them, for not signing their, mother's maiden name on the line, and think that they're taking their tax money. You know, well, both use the tax money. They use the money, their own money. See what I'm saying? Well, but we won't go there. I just want to, well, we won't go there. I just want to say that the haves and the have-nots are both slaves from different, you know, perspectives. You know, basically two different classes. Mm, okay, social economic classes. Okay, but they're still slaves. Now, and this system enslaving children, okay, making them pay for their not knowing as young people. They're taking advantage of their innocence, okay, exploitation of their innocence, exploitation of youth, exploitation of the young, and virtually the old. Because if they're young, they're gonna get. If they're fortunate enough, they're gonna get old one day. So it's exploitation of all the old, the young, the children, the young adults, the senior adults, and then ultimately, you know, anything in between after that. Okay, after senior. Okay, yeah. So okay, okay, um, okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So we meet in the market. Okay, and begin to see the integrity at the watering hole. So we begin to see our differences at the watering hole, the market, in the market, you know, from our economic class. Okay, that is our watering hole in the market. Okay, the dining table. Our manners at the dining table. We're showing our manners in the market based upon our class. And debt determines our class. Debt or EBT. Debt or no debt. Debt versus no debt. Have versus have nots. You know, and then it's have versus have nots, debt versus no debt. And the debt would be have no debt, but yet education versus formal commercial education, educated versus the uneducated, okay, informally educated, and that will be those who the EBTers who would hold on to religion to maintain their integrity, to prevent them from yielding to temptation, you know, and okay, so and trying to work those multiple jobs. See, because whether they're educated or not, they still gonna work multiple jobs because of the structure of the economy right now, right? So one is just gonna get paid less, okay, than the other, but they're still going to be challenged, and one has debt to pay out of his income, okay, because he married to the system, basically, the educational system or the system, the market. He's married to the market, okay. The other, well, we're gonna go to the other one, okay, but anyway, so. And then just like the EBTers, you know, it's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying EBT as it relates to social welfare, because student aid is social welfare too. All of it's social welfare. Okay, whether the banks get bailouts, whether the corporations get bailed out, whether countries get bailed out, it's still welfare. Okay, social welfare, looking for the better. The benefit of society, okay, the wellness of society, okay. So that's what welfare is supposed to do. Okay, look after the well-being of society, and what corporations. Okay, so giving that money to corporations, that's social welfare. Okay, so it's all welfare. So I'm not talking about EBT as it relates to social welfare. I'm talking about EBT as it relates to debt versus no debt. You know, as it relates to those going to higher institutions of learning versus those who don't really see a purpose for that, because they don't see a purpose for it in their lives, because based upon the structure of or how it's presented, how education is presented, as I said, to the young in regards to, secular commercial world versus the spiritual world, and there's no in between. Okay, to know nothing to bridge the gap. Okay. Um, okay. Now, so this is a big burden for both to bear, in the upper class and the lower class. And I know that there's no middle class, and I know that there's really no upper class right now because the market is stagnated. However, and it's a do-it-yourself market. Because we talk about the time of Aquarius, right? But anyway, so I'm looking at the time. Anyway, so it's where would I go there from there? Okay, there's no jobs. The market is stagnated. Um, oh, okay. So when was that? Okay. Well, I'll just move on because I'm kind of lost in my thought, and I don't want to ramble on. Okay, so we'll move on. Oh, okay. So EBT. Da, 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 da. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to stop here. I'm going to get my thought together, and then I'll see you in the next video. Video 3, education. The consequences of education. That's what we're going to say. Okay, so I'll see you in video 3. And until then, Phoenix Ramadan L. Jackson. Salam alaikum. I'm going to video 3. Okay.